Welcome to The Rite of Passage with Vanessa Riley, the podcast where storytelling meets passion and every page turns into a new adventure. I'm your host, Vanessa Riley, and together we'll dive deep into untold histories, reflect on current events through a historical lens, share behind-the-scenes writing insights, and explore the ups and downs of the author's journey. From rich historical novels to unforgettable characters to pop culture's intrusion on the written word, hey, we're going to explore it all. So grab your pen, your notebook, and let's begin our journey through the written word. Let's start your rite of passage. Ride or die, or get out of the way. To the writers, the creatives, if you're like me, you possess a deep curiosity about humanity and a desire to do good through our work. But creatives, are you struggling? Are deadlines slipping through your fingers? Is the blank page staring back at you stubborn and bare? Do you feel alone? Like no one will ride out to save you? The truth is, no one is coming. Because we're all anxious and distracted. It's hard not to be. Since our last episode, it feels like 1,000,001 things have happened all at once. I've seen creatives grappling with the still high price of eggs, building skits about boycotts or debates about debating boycotts, and the resurrection of TikTok sparking discussions about zombie-like timelines. Time burns. Writers wrestle with their role. We try to create worlds that feel diverse and welcoming, while rage-watching unqualified individuals ascend to power due to the privilege of their bank accounts, or honestly, whiteness or white associations. I've seen a spectacle of posts from people with crosses in their bio, making rage-filled statements on what Jesus would or would not do. How do we keep creating, when everything around us is in flux and chaos? I usually have my act together. I plan and execute. This week, I let time get away from me. I've written and rewritten this very essay a multitude of times. I want to give you fresh manna every time I step to the microphone. Then unexpectedly, clarity came during a celebration of life for a dear friend's grandmother. Watching a montage of Miss Dorothy's life and photos, hearing testimonies of love, and most poignantly, listening to the words of her longtime best friend moved me deeply. Her bestie described their years of shared laughter, prayer, and adventures as missions of foolery at the bars, late-night Thelma and Louise-style escapades, and their unshakable bond. When the bestie shared a piece of wall art Miss Dorothy had made for her, I choked up. Hung in a gilded frame, the red and orange colors radiated joy. I felt the sisterly love and support. The bestie said that everything wasn't always perfect between them, but they knew that either would ride to hell and back for the other. At that moment, I knew what I had to write. The question that cut into my soul: are you someone's ride or die? Are you someone's safe harbor, their distraction from life's destructive winds? Or are you a danger in disguise, someone who, by intent or accident, dims their light? Vanessa, why so serious? Well, we are living in serious times. Everything should be purposeful. We need to think before we speak. James 1:19-20 says something like, brothers and sisters, everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because anger does not produce righteousness. Why should we do this slow think? It doesn't feel good. If I just post on social, No. These social media streets are meaner than ever. And the consequences of a good jab, a quick retort, can have monstrous FO reactions. Let me tell you a few short stories to illustrate this. There once was a phenomenal female painter whose work celebrated women and cultural pride with breathtaking power. At the height of her talent, she was mostly ignored. Society lauded her famous husband as the true genius. She was told to be quiet, to support him, to be lesser. I imagine she often looked up at the sky and wondered why there wasn't enough light for two. There was a humble poet who burned to tell stories of ordinary people. When she poured her heart into her writing, critics dismissed her. They wanted stories about the elite, not the impoverished. The fire in her soul left no room for compromise, but her enemies sought to bury her work. They succeeded. No one rode to save her. She died impoverished and in obscurity. She closed her eyes knowing her peers had deliberately dimmed her light. There was a collector who nurtured others' prose. She gave so much of herself that her own work was overlooked. After publishing several novels with little acclaim, she gazed at the starry sky and wished there was enough light for her mentees and her too. Imagine women dying, spent of their energy and grace, dismissed, barely acknowledged. Unfortunately for a female creator, these are not anomalies. Artemisia Gentileschi, 1593 to 1656, an Italian Baroque painter whose powerful depictions of women, such as Judith slaying Holofernes, were overshadowed by her male contemporaries. Today, she is celebrated as one of the Baroque period's greatest artists. Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, 1651-1695, a Mexican nun and writer whose literary works were suppressed by the church authorities. Forced to sell her library of collected books, she soon died. I can understand that. Her best-known work, Reply to Sister Filete of the Cross, is a defense of women's education. Today, she's a feminist icon. Emily Dickinson, 1830 to 1886, the American poet, published fewer than a dozen of her 1,800 poems during her lifetime. Today, she's a lesbian. Zora Neale Hurston, 1891 to 1960, a giant of the Harlem Renaissance, Hurston's work was erased from mainstream consciousness for decades. She died in poverty and was buried in an unmarked grave. Frida Kahlo, 1907 to 1954, often overshadowed by her husband, Diego Rivera, Kahlo's work is now recognized worldwide as a celebration of womanhood and Mexican culture. There are always countless more women who are dismissed and their greatness only acknowledged posthumously. Death and decades of time shouldn't be prerequisites for a creative to gain their due. Back to my earlier story, I have some posthumous updates. The ignored artist, Frida Kahlo. Always in the shadow of her husband, the famed 1920s painter Diego Rivera, Frida's talents were noted and championed by art world luminaries like socialite Lupe Marin, Diego's first wife, and photographer Tina Modati. Lupe introduced Frida to influential figures in the art world, while Tina captured stunning photographs that catapulted Frida's reputation. These two women helped elevate Frida's distinctive style and works, including her 1926 piece, Self-Portrait in a Velvet Dress. Their support was instrumental in promoting her art in Mexico and beyond, eventually earning Frida the global acclaim she deserved. The Hobbled Writer, Zora Neale Hurston. Story 2 was about the gifted Zora. During her lifetime, she was celebrated as a writer of the Harlem Renaissance. However, after the 1940s, her work fell out of favor. She was criticized by her contemporaries for not explicitly addressing racism or aligning with the civil rights movement. Her focus was on everyday folk and folklore. This divergence caused the literary elites to push her into obscurity. Shunned and misunderstood, Zora died in poverty in 1960, and yes, buried in an unmarked grave. Enter burgeoning writer Alice Walker, that we know from The Color Purple. She encountered Zora's Their Eyes Were Watching God in graduate school. It was around 1970, a decade after Zora's death. Profoundly changed by the novel, Alice was shocked that Zora's legacy had been erased. Determined to restore it, she feverishly researched Zora's life, eventually writing an essay for Ms. Magazine titled Looking for Zora. Alice located Zora's unmarked grave and purchased a headstone inscribed with Zora Neale Hurston, a genius of the South. The Dismissed Editor. Jessie Redmond Fawcett. Jessie, from 1882 to 1961, was a vital figure of the Harlem Renaissance. Yet her work was undervalued in her lifetime and largely forgotten until the feminist and civil rights movements of the 70s. I recently read an advanced copy of Harlem Rhapsody by Victoria Christopher Murray, which chronicles Jessie's life. Victoria beautifully highlights how the editor's dreams were often sacrificed to nurture younger Harlem Renaissance writers like Langston Hughes. Her contributions to literature and her own novels deserve the same spotlight. There is Confusion, 1924, examines issues of race and ambition among Black professionals. Plum Bum, 1928, explores passing and the complexities of identity, a theme that may have influenced her friend Nella Larson, who wrote Passing. The Chinaberry Tree, 1931, focuses on family dynamics and societal expectations within Black communities. Comedy American Style, 1933, a biting critique of internalized racism and the pursuit of whiteness. Thank you, Victoria, for returning Jessie to our lexicon. That's what I love about research and writing, pen to paper, words forming sentences. We get to take readers back in time and restore women. In Sister Mother Warrior, I rediscovered Mary Claire Bonnier, the first Empress of Haiti, and Grand Toya, a counselor and African military leader, to Emperor Jean-Jacques I. That's Jean-Jacques Dessalines. These two women, connected to the man who liberated Haiti, were crucial to the shaping of the Haitian Revolution. Within the prose, I built the respect and friendship that developed between these two polar opposites. That's right, opposites can respect and ride for each other. With fiction, based loosely on historical events and people, I ride for the forgotten and amplify sisterly ideals. In A Gamble at Sunset and the forthcoming A Wager at Midnight, I deliberately showcase the Wilcox sisters' relationship. These Black women are far from perfect. They won't be painted or captured in a pristine sonnet. They are deliciously messy and passionate. Their ability to listen and not judge is constantly tested. But they will ride at dawn for their sister. We need that energy now. Listen closely. I'm not interested in performative protest. I don't want my exhausted sisters lifting a finger for something that's not well thought out. I refuse to witness the front of a firing line because the loudest folks dropped away and hid. Moreover, I don't want to see sisters picking apart another sister, or their art for clicks, or because they disagree. We're blessed that Lupe and Tina weren't judgmental in their love for Frida, that Alice didn't care that Zora wrote differently from her. She didn't question Zora's identity or love for her people. Alice stood in the gap and worked to elevate Zora. She returned her to us and bought a headstone to honor a woman she'd only met in reading, the dismissed words of "their eyes were watching God." What I'm saying is, in these times of turmoil and distress, leave petty differences behind. Ride or die for freedom, freedom to produce art. Don't let your sisters die in poverty. Don't let them leave this earth without tasting the fruit of the seeds they planted. In a world of chaos, be Lupe, be Tina or Alice, or any other writer who restores our ancestors to us. My beautiful creative friends, ride or die, or get out of the way. If you want a deeper dive into some of the books mentioned, here's the list. The Answer, the expanded edition, includes Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz's work, The Chinaberry Tree by Jessie Redmond Fawcett, The Color Purple by Alice Walker, Comedy American Style by Jessie Redmond Fawcett, A Gambit Sunset by Vanessa Riley, Harlem Rhapsody by Victoria Christopher Murray, Plum Bun by Jessie Redmond Fawcett, Sister Mother Warrior by Vanessa Riley, There Is Confusion, Jessie Redmond Fawcett, Their Eyes Are Watching God, Zora Neale Hurston, A Wager at Midnight, Vanessa Riley. I just want to thank you for listening. Hopefully you'll come again. This is Vanessa Riley.